Hey y'all, welcome back to CRG Physical Therapy. Today we're going to be talking about bones and how we can improve their bone mineral density for our everyday life. So, bone loss can predispose us for conditions like fractures. It can make us less resilient to falls, to stubbing our toe. It can be a big issue, and especially as we get older. So, osteoporosis is essentially when the bones in our body become porous. So, if you can think about a big, strong concrete slab, if you were to poke holes in that slab and then try to put a force through that slab, it'd be more likely to fracture. So, you can kind of think of it like that, and there are natural interventions that we can do to make that slab of concrete stronger. We can put some rebar through that slab. And unfortunately, our society does not do such a good job of encouraging the healthy activities that we're going to be discussing in this video. So that's part of my goal, is to give you the information that you can use to make yourself more resilient against these challenges. So like 1 in every 2 women over the age of 50 has osteoporosis, and this puts them at immense risk of injury. And at that age, it's difficult to fight back after you've already had a serious hip fracture, and the prognosis is kind of poor if you are that age. So, what can we do for our nutrition? Our bones are made of cells that need to be replaced, essentially, and the only way we can bring our body those building blocks is through our diet, right? So we need to be eating calcium and vitamin D and protein, because without that, there's no building blocks to build our bones, essentially. So calcium, the National Osteoporosis Foundation recommends 1,200 milligrams of calcium and about 1,000 international units, or IU, of vitamin D. Additionally, vitamin K and phosphorus have been noted as being very beneficial for strong bones, and you can get that through eating leafy greens, with a disclaimer that you should see a doctor before making any changes to your diet, because leafy greens, for instance, can thin your blood, which can have implications on your health. So that's the sort of reason why we should speak to a doctor before making those changes. Obviously, drink more water. Your urine should be the color of light straw or clear, so that's good for your bones. So you should be doing that so that your bone cells can receive the nutrition that you're eating, essentially. And then protein, lastly, is essential because collagen is a protein, so you should be eating collagen and protein. About 1 gram per pound of body weight is what I recommend, though speak to a doctor. So next we have physical activity, and this is, as a physical therapist, my favorite intervention, because it's a behavior that we can just do at will and get benefit from. So why does this work before we get into it? So stressing bones is a natural process to make them remodel to the imposed demands. So Wolff's Law is a way to think about this, and it's basically saying that anything that is used in a physiological way, so if you're stressing the bone will adapt stronger. But if you are inactive and you sit and you sleep all day and you're not moving, you're not loading the bones, you're not providing the stress needed to impose an adaptation, that tissue is going to weaken over time and it's going to atrophy. So using Wolff's Law, if you already have osteoporosis, walking, Tai Chi, yoga may be beneficial. In a minute, I'm going to show you some simple, safe exercises that you can do with osteoporosis or even without osteoporosis. And then with a disclaimer that if you do have osteoporosis, avoid bending, twisting, or high impact exercises such as jumping, which would put you at risk of a fracture. And it's important we do physical activity because a study by the journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, showed basically a decreased risk of all-cause mortality in those who did strength training at least twice a week. So this is a very easy, approachable way to introduce loading your bones into your life, but you should be pushing yourself in a safe manner wherever you are in life. Obviously, if you don't have osteoporosis, you can do more intense exercises than what I'm going to show you, but nevertheless, here we go. So first off, we have glute bridges, and cueing on this one is basically just to keep your core tight and your glutes to bring your hips up towards the ceiling. And this is great because you can do this on the floor, you can do this on the bed, wherever, and you're also getting muscle activation in addition to loading your bones, which is great. Next is chair sit to stands, and here you're going to scoot forward in your chair, and your feet are going to be under your knees, and they're going to be pointed out slightly, and your feet are going to be pointed forward or slightly out. And you're going to tilt your torso forward over your knees and then drive up through your heels using your big quad muscles, right? And we're going to be doing 3 sets of 10 reps of these exercises. I think that's a good place to start. Next, I think, is a good example of how we can impose stresses on our bones. So these are standing marches. And essentially, why I like these so much is because they're standing. And when you stand, your spine is compressing from gravity, essentially, and you have to support your own body weight. And so when we do something like a standing march, we're getting the benefit of stressing the bone and theoretically imposing that demand to maintain or even grow the mineral density in our bone, right? So on this, we're going to bring our knee up to about a 90-degree angle or parallel to the ground. And the cue is basically just to use your core, and if you need assistance, you can use the back of a chair or a countertop, what have you, whatever you feel safe doing, right? And next we have the bent over row, and this guy is pretty nice because all you need to do, you push your glutes back, and I call it the hip hinge. So you're going to hinge at your hip and bring your torso forward, and you're going to keep a straight back, and your core is tight, your glutes are tight, and you're going to bring the can of beans or a light dumbbell up using the cue of your elbows go behind you. So you're going to drive your elbows back, and you should feel your back muscles activate. And this is great because you're standing and you're imposing a load through the can of beans or whatever small object you decide to hold. Anything is going to stress those bones better than nothing, right? And lastly, guys, without sleep, we cannot grow. This is because sleep is when our body recovers our tissues that are broken down during the day. And when we exercise, we break down muscle tissue, we break down bone tissue, but without sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night, it's an uphill battle to improve your bone mineral density and even just maintain it, right? So getting fewer than 5 hours of sleep has been shown to be associated with osteoporosis, which, if you would like to have healthy bones, is not conducive to that goal, right? So these are just 3 simple tips to prevent osteoporosis or to even improve your prognosis wherever you are in life. And I hope this was useful for you. If you'd like more information, you can check out my website, cartergansky.com, or crgphysicaltherapy.com, either or. But yeah, I appreciate you for visiting with me today and learning something new. Tell me what you think in the comments. Peace.